Tammy. How you
Well,
guys
hey,
doing?
how's it going?
Oh man, hey, I couldn't stay away.
Hey Don, how are you?
I heard you guys were out on the lake today tearing them up, and so I had to come down to see how it went.
Well, we went out and did a little scouting for our trip tomorrow, and we just tore them up out there. We just slayed them. We might have caught 300 or 400 fish, caught a limit of 60 keepers.
And what technique were you guys using?
Looks like we're going to be pulling tomorrow. That looks like the deal. We were up the river, about 25 or 30 other boats around us. No one else was catching much fish at all. We couldn't keep our poles in the water.
Wow. Now, are we using minnow? Are we using bluegills? What are we using to get these crappie, Tammy?
We don't use minnows in this boat. We use only Southern Pro. We're going to be pulling Southern Pro hot grubs tomorrow and maybe a few triple ripples.
She has got every color known to man there, but I know that she's got some top secret ones that are just waiting on us. Aren't they?
I won't tell the top secret. You have to figure it out tomorrow.
We keep
now, is that some colors?
Wow.
But we do have the color figured out here on beautiful Kentucky Lake.
Now, is this going to be one of these, got to be here at 4:30 in the morning thing, or can we get a little bit later start,
I would like to hit the water maybe 6:30, 7-ish.
Okay, great.
We're dealing with a full moon and going to be windy tomorrow. We're going to be fighting the wind. With the full moon, we're going to be looking at a early bite, and then it's going to taper off to about noonish or 1 o'clock. They'll start coming on again, and the closer we get towards the end of the day, the better the bite will be.
Dennis, can you talk about the rods, reels, and equipment we're going to be using here today?
Don, we're going to be using a technique called pulling. It's a method of trolling jigs. We're going to be using 3 different rods out there today, 3 different companies. We're going to use a Crappie Outlaw, 14-footer off the front on each side. We're going to be using a B&M 12-foot. Then we're going to step down to a 10-foot. And in the back of the boat, we're going to be using a 7.5-foot trolling rod. As for the jigs and the rest of the equipment, we're going to be using all Southern Pro. We're going to be pulling hot grubs, some triple ripples, and possibly even add a tube jig or 2 in there. I'm going to show you how we quickly fine tune and get the color right for these springtime crappie out here. Now, what I've got is a color selector from Spike It. And all you do is switch it on right here and take this little sensor, and you want to let it down in the water and watch the top of it. When you can't see it no more, you bring it back up and check the measurement. It disappears at 2 feet. So that tells us that we're going to be looking at stained water today to a touch muddy. And we'll let it all the way down when we get to where we're fishing, and we'll take a reading. The deeper we go, the higher the reading gets. And once we get that reading, we just look on the chart here. We're going to be fishing some muddy water today. It's telling us to use 33. So you come up here to 33. It's going to recommend some greens and yellows. So we'll start off with maybe the Bumblebee Hot Grub. That's a yellow-black combination. We'll start off with maybe a green-yellow combination. That's a good because it's showing us both green and yellow. And once the fish start biting it, we'll start working off of colors like that, maybe changing subtle things about it. Maybe go green-black or throw something in there like that. And we'll also throw a red chartreuse or something out there just because that's the #1 color that catches crappie. And also, if we can't fine-tune if we don't have the exact combination, we just take the Spike It dip and dip our jig, maybe just the tail or sometimes the head. We can fine-tune them Great Southern Pro jigs to the exact color that we want.
Yeah.
That is the lip of a little shelf right there. See,
I'll be darned.
see how it showed up?
Yeah.
Now when we get like, I could probably look around out here and find you some, but a distinctive creek channel, you can follow it like a highway.
Wow.
You can follow it like a highway with this thing.
Man.
It's cheating. It is. It's cheating. When my competition don't have this and I'm fishing it, it makes you feel like you're cheating almost because it's just that good.
You know, Dennis, up in the Great Lakes, it seems like all the fishing we do is trolling because, you know, such big bodies of water. And I really love this pulling technique. Can't wait to try it on my own too. But how much line do you typically let out with these jigs to get it at the depth you want? And then how fast do you go?
We typically let out about 50 to 75 feet. To teach an amateur how to do this, the best thing to do is tell him to make sure he fishes the same diameter line on every pole and the same weight of jig head on every pole. And wind that pole up and throw it as far as you can throw it. And get yourself up in a shallow flat somewhere like we're fishing today and slow down the motor until you start seeing your rod skip on the bottom. The jig, it'll pulse your rod when the jig starts skipping on the bottom. And then pick the speed up and come up at say 0.2 mile an hour increments until you start catching fish, and that would give you a good indication of the speed and where you need to be. We typically take these poles right here and we just wind them up and throw them the same distance each time, and what it'll do is your reel, the light on your reel will get a memory, and it'll stop letting out at the same distance every time until you say you snag it off or break it off, and then you got to restart it all. But and the most common speed that you troll when you're pulling jigs like this is 1.2 mile an hour. That is your most productive speed. The slowest we would go would be in deep water, 20 plus feet, we'd be down at 0.8 mile an hour. Anything slower than that, if you get a bite, typically the fish will get it spit out before you can get a good hook set. And we fish as fast as 1.5 to 1.7. In fact, if you catch the fish suspended, 1.5 is a real productive speed also.
So when you get fish that might be halfway down the water column, let's say you're in 20 feet of water and they're down at 10 feet, you're probably going to be more apt to go a little bit faster to get those jigs traveling up a little bit?
Well, at 10 feet deep in 20 foot of water, that's where we would be at about 1.2.
1.2, okay.
With the length of cast that I'm throwing and the two 16th ounce jig heads. At 10 feet deep, that's a good reference because that's where the crappie typically seem to suspend in most lakes, is 10 to 15 feet deep.
Okay. Swooped and scored. Look at it. I can't hardly lift it, Tammy. What do you think?
That is a good one too.
Wow. Man, dark.
Look how dark that is.
Look at the gut on this girl. Wow. That's a heavy fish. And look, the hook came right out real easy.
All right, I gotta get untangled.
Well, you should have these kind of problems at home, trolling along, singing a song, and pulling in, 3, 4, 5, 8 pound crappie like this, But these are good fish all day long. And these are these spawning females that Dennis was telling us about. And they're staging, getting ready to go in and do their thing. And, I'm not going to hold her up anymore. Tell me a little bit about this new imaging system that you're using here.
Don, that's the imager from Humminbird. It's a 987 side imager. It's a GPS sonar fishing system combo. And what that does, it uses new technology to develop underwater images or pictures, if you will, of everything that's down there. If there's timber down there, you're going to see timber or everything. It uses ultrasound and produces a image using ultrasound, and it leaves nothing to the imagination. If the fish are down there, you're going to see fish. If there's structure, you'll see structure. Makes it a whole lot easier to find and locate fish, and that's how we found these fish that we're catching today. Is we took that imager and imaged up here on this flat and seen a lot of fish, so we set out and went to fishing, and right away we started catching them. Get me an orange triple ripple and the red dye. I'll tie the tail red. See what happens.
And you know all these colors, don't you?
Mm-hmm. That's the dye. You don't want to get it on you.
And so you dip the grub into that?
We'll change. You know, Southern Pro's a great corporation, and they make the best spread of colors in the market, but sometimes they can't get it just exactly right what the fish want.
Sure.
So with the Spike-It product, we can dip the tail or dip the head of it and change the color to make it right.
And do it right now.
And do it right now. The triple tips come along before the hot grubs did. These were highly productive jigs. They were highly productive jigs, but now that the hot grubs come along, we prefer those. We seem to catch more fish on a hot grub.
Oh, okay.
Not that the triple ripples aren't productive, because they certainly are.
You know, I hear a lot of people say sometimes you just need to use something that hasn't been drugged by the fish for the last week.
Exactly.
So like you said, maybe that's not the current product that's hot for Southern Pro, but you happen to have kept some because they've been so productive in the past. Get out here on a day when...
There's certain lakes that you have to fish a smaller bait.
Yeah.
Clear water, for instance, you need to switch to a smaller bait in clear water to really just tear the fish up. So the triple ripples give us that option to going down to the smaller bait, and like I say, it's a very productive bait.
You'll find he catches more fish than I do.
It's a good keeper right here.
Oh, good fish. That's what I like to hear.
Just a keeper. He ain't no monster.
And you say that the whites tend to get up and kind of surf
See
their way
how,
in?
he's coming in?
Yeah.
That's what you're after. If you want to actually boat
Good fish.
a 2-pounders, you want him to get up on top and lay, because
On
if he
that.
gets down and fights,
Same jig again.
Same jig again. I'll be there.
if he gets down there and starts fighting, a 2-pounder sometimes will pull himself off because of his own weight.
I'll be there. Well, dipping that tail in that red is just instantly paying off. That's 2 fish and just bam, bam, bam.
That added a garlic scent to it also.
Oh, okay, so it's not just a color, it's also a scent.
We added a scent. Spike-It does a good job of incorporating scents into their dye.
Okay, okay. Dennis, I can see how deadly this pulling is here in the spring. Can you also pull, like, you know, the rest of the season, summer, winter, fall?
Don, you can pull jigs for crappie year-round. It's a year-round type of fishing. The pattern will change of where you pull, though. In the springtime, we like to be up here in the back of these creeks on these shallow flats. Late spring, post-spawn, we'll typically find them in the mouth of the creek, 12 to 15 foot of water. Summertime pattern, we'll have to go out into the main lake a little deeper, sometimes 15 to 20 feet deep, but rarely do we have to fish deeper than 20 feet to catch crappie. Although certain lakes in the country, super clear water lakes like southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, it's not uncommon to have to fish 35 or 40 feet deep to catch them.
Wow.
But this is certainly a method that can be applied year-round. It just, the only thing that changes is where you would go to look to pull.
Okay, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Every time you turn around, you're catching a fish.
It's a very productive way to fish.
Yeah, my goodness. Came in and asked this guy a question. He just keeps catching fish, and I keep trying to get him to take a break so he can show me some stuff. He's reaching down. Well, they call these paper miles, but I'm gonna tell you what, it's taken me a week to get this thing out. Another nice little white.
Of course, now Berkeley supplies us with all the line that we can use. And we keep finding ourselves, every time something new comes out, we try it, we keep finding ourselves going right back to plain old Trilene XL or XT.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good, it's inexpensive line, it's a good quality line. We just keep cycling right back to it. The Spiderwire Super Mono worked out great, but for some reason I just keep finding myself fishing that XL or XT.
What region do you guys focus on? Or do you just go all over?
We just go where the best lakes are.
Usually we do a lot in Region 1 usually.
We're the
'cause
only
that's all
team
the southern.
that is qualified for all 4 regionals every year since they started the regional concept.
Wow.
Now, this year we haven't done it yet. We're 1 short. We're 1 regional short this year. But we haven't tried, or we would have.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
that is cool. And you pretty much try to stay with this technique no matter where you go?
No, I'm pretty versatile.
Oh, okay.
I've even
Yeah,
been known
but
to
we
get
like
the
this
noodle
the
sock 'em
best.
if I have to.
What's that?
Just get up there and jig them right down tight in the brush.
Oh, okay, okay. Would you say, is it fair to say you'd use this in most tournaments or no?
Most.
Most? Yeah.
Most.
Now, Dennis, I look at a big giant lake like this, I would have no idea where to go and use this pulling technique. What do you look for when you're determining how you're going to set up and do some pulling?
Well, Don, I like to look for an area in the back of a creek or maybe the mouth of the creek, depending on the conditions. I always want to look for stained water if I can find it. And you need an area that has a distinctive creek channel running through it, because the crappie will migrate up that channel, and when they hit the right temperature water in the back of the creek, they'll move out on shallow flats and look for cover to spawn in. And this technique works great in the springtime because the crappie are doing just that. They're looking around on these shallow flats back here. Typically will stay close to the creek channel until the water temperature gets right, and then they'll spread out.
What's the speed you like to pull at?
1.2 is the magic number. You can fish and catch them good all the way down to 0.8, and if they come suspended shallow to the surface, 1.5, 1.6 is a good speed to catch them at then.
Okay.
1.2 is the magic number that we shoot at. We try to stay right in that range, 1.2, 1.3.
Okay.
We're tracking our speed on the GPS. We used to make a mechanical speedometer that worked well, but once they changed the technology in the GPSs where they would track you down to less than a mile an hour, that took care of that.
Huh.
There's no reason to run mechanical now anymore.
So in a tournament where you got heavy winds and it's hard to maintain that speed, do you use drift socks to slow you down?
Most of the time, I can do it all with this autopilot. Let's say we're fishing a really high wind. We'll put the stern into the wind, and then I'll turn this autopilot around and run it backwards. It'll work just as good that way as it does pulling the boat.
Okay, okay.
Just turn the autopilot on and hold this thing right here in my hand and just give it short bursts to keep the speed.
Okay, so not continuous, just give it to just keep your eye on the speed on the GPS.
Now we fished a tournament at Lake Okeechobee this spring, and the sustained wind was 40 mile an hour, and it was gusting higher.
Woo!
Now we did pull a drift sock that day.
I bet.
But most of the day, the only time I added the drift sock was later in the day when I was starting to get low on battery. Most of the day, the autopilot just done its thing and kept us
40 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tammy,
Oh!
what have you got going on back here?
I think I got me a good one.
The ego's at the ready. Oh, man. Is that a bass?
No, that's not a bass.
Man, I saw the mouth that big. Woo! Oh, yeah, he's in the net. Oh, man, pretty fish. Pretty fish.
All right.
Wow, so big I can't hardly lift this guy. Look at that.
Woo!
My goodness.
That's a big old white male. No, that's a white female. There.
Wow. And took that jig deep. So deep, that I think I'm gonna
He
need
wasn't
something.
getting on,
There we
was
go.
it? There you go.
Man, wow. Definitely a keeper there. What do you think,
Yeah.
5, 6 pounds? What do you think?
At
Every
least,
bit of it. Every bit
at
of it.
least.
Every bit of it.
I've got to have one bigger than you guys.
Now, Dennis, you know what everybody watching this wants to know? You get out there on those days when the barometer just crashed, you know, the cold fronts are in and nobody's catching any fish. And we know that you got some secret tips on how we can continue to catch fish even in these adverse conditions. What is it?
Well, Don, I like to go to longline trolling or fish for a reaction strike. The fish may not necessarily be biting the bait to eat it. He'll hit it because it come in his little world or his little space. We call that a reaction bite. And when the fishing slows down, we like to go to the long line trolling, cover as much water as possible and drag a jig past the brush or something and just make him hit it because it come in his little world. Well, that looks like a good bite there, Don.
Well, you're getting them real good bites all in a row here. As soon as we went by that, what was that, a pallet or a stump?
Looked like some kind of structure over there on the side imager. Looky there, that's a pretty good fish.
Oh, man.
Don.
Well, the net's back there. Let me see. Is it okay if I just try to lip it here?
Yeah, if you're real careful, I think we can get that done.
Man, pretty fish. Pretty fish. Oh, I think it's a white one.
That's a big old white male right there.
Oh, yeah, look at
That's
that.
a slab.
Look at that. Boy, he wasn't in there real solid. It's a good thing you kept that tension on there. Man, what a pretty fish.
How's that for production out of a good Southern Pro?
Hey, hey, and that is the money color, man. I tell you what, I have to have about 40 dozen of them things, I think.
I had a hunch when I didn't catch very many on that first pull that these fish had backed up a little bit with this water coming up.
Boy, your hunch paid off with that fish, man. That's a big fish.
What's really fun is when every one of these poles, all his and all mine, at one time have fish on them.
Now that'd be fun.
We
Yeah.
do that
You're
quite
like-
often.
One in each toe, and you know.
You're just catching them and throwing them and hauling all in the floor.
Man.
We do it
gee,
quite often.
Man.
That's not uncommon to happen at all.
Wow. You just find that pod and get them
Get
all.
that? Yep.
Wow.
It's fun. It's fun, but yet there's so many of them, and you want to make sure you get them all.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you don't
Wow.
want to miss any of them.
Why do you think that those rods? Earlier you said that more fish are caught from these than these. Is it because those are out to the side of the boat as opposed to being right behind? I don't, you know.
You know what? I honestly don't have an answer because I can sit back here and not catch anything. Matter of fact, I did it one time. I was so aggravated I wasn't catching anything. He said, well, fine, you go up front and you run the trolling motor. I went up front, nothing. He come back here, he started catching fish.
Ah? Oh, man.
That's not a good subject to go to sometimes.
Yeah. We'll move right along, man. Every time you say, hey, it's time to quit or it's getting slow, bam, you get another fish. Looks like a good one.
It would certainly keep.
Oh, yeah, good fish.
Chartreuse shad.
Look at that, that same color. And that chartreuse shad. Wow. Now, I'm looking at the awesome specs on that, and I want to say it's a black, but of course it is a...
It's a speck. It's a
It
black.
is a black, all right.
you
Ding,
win.
ding, 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 ding. Now, Dennis, I've talked with a lot of guys, and some of them are kind of split on the effect of the moon and those cellular tables that, you know, I'm always hearing about, you know, best times to fish. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Don, I can't rely on that cellular table in our business of crappie fishing because it doesn't always line up during tournament hours. You have to learn how to make the fish bite during the time of day that's allotted to you during the tournament. As for the moon definitely affects the bite. Today we're out here dealing, we got a full moon all night long, high skies. The bite will typically be great at daylight. It will taper off till around noon, 1 o'clock. Then you'll get a mild bite, and it generally will taper off again, and around dusk you'll get a hard bite before the moon rises.
good fish.
It's hung in this other line, so I don't know how far in I'm going to get
Tammy's
it.
back there quietly getting it. Ooh, that's a big one.
That's a nice
let me
fish
pop
right
that.
there. She had to go and show off.
Look at that. She's back there
She won't
just
tell her
keeping
that
that
she
low
doesn't.
profile, bringing in a monster. That's a big white,
Yep, big white fish.
because I see the bands. Go ahead on, Tammy. Woo.
Beautiful white crappie.
Beautiful.
Pound and a quarter-ish.
Tammy, with all the tournaments you guys do all over the country, I know that you've got a technique that you're probably your favorite when you're targeting the big fish. What is it?
Well, Don, I would have to say pulling. You don't have to just sit with one pole. You can use as many poles as you want. You can catch more than one fish at a time. It's really fun when you start catching 5 and 6 fish at a time. You just can't keep up. It just makes it so fun.
It's a double. Got one on the other side, Tammy. Hang on a minute, just let him drag. You're gonna have to net that top fish.
That's the top one, and then grab the bottom one.
Wow. I see some orange in his mouth.
Actually, that is pink.
Got it?
Got it.
Yeah, look at that. That's another white, isn't it? Is that a white?
Here, Don.
One of them whites have been killed. Gee, my name, man. We knee deep in the hoopla here. Oh, man, this is a good fish. You know, Dennis, I'm trying to learn a lot of these techniques, and this pulling is definitely one of my favorites. But how would you apply this or some of these other popular crappie techniques on a river where you've got current?
Well, Don, when you fish a river with current, the technique completely changes. If you're gonna try to pull, you always have to pull with the current. Otherwise, when you turn back around to go against it, the current will lift the jigs and you'll be over the fish. We like to look for backwater eddies or small bays off of the main river that have deep water in it, preferably with some cover in it, and we'll switch to a spider rigging or a vertical jigging type technique to fish a current.
And this is that color you said never leave home without it.
Right there, that's it.
We've got some like blood red and then black on the other side. And you call this a what?
That's black red chartreuse. That's the color that Southern Pro calls it.
And then the type of a jig head that you've got on this particular one.
That is a minnow head.
Minnow head.
16th-ounce minnow head. And I mean a good one.
A real good one.
Are you sure?
I can tell
Not
by
a
the way
double.
he bit.
Tammy's got that ego. Okay. We'll see me a good fish right here.
Oh, yeah, it is. See him coming?
Uh-oh. Tammy agrees.
He's gonna be close to 2 pounds.
Oh, wow.
You think it's bigger than half a pound? You think?
I know it is.
All right. Well, look at the mouth on this thing. It looks like a bass. Woo! My goodness. That is a
Now,
haul.
that's a black, isn't
Now
it?
he come off, no, that's a white.
That's
He
a
come
white?
off a cover.
Oh, he come off a cover.
He come off
Wow.
a cover.
Look at that fish. Tammy, what's your favorite season to target crappie?
Well, Don, I'd have to say springtime because the fish are spawning, so they're schooling, and the bite is way more aggressive.
Looking good. Tammy, where you want me, on this side or
It
that
doesn't matter because it's already got
Okay,
a line.
I'm gonna come to this
so-
side then. And I'm gonna scoop and score. There we go. Oh, good one, Tammy. Wow.
Well, that's on popsicle.
Man. figure 5, 6 pounds there?
Oh, at least.
That is a pretty
That's
fish.
a pretty fish now.
It sure is. Oh my goodness.
Ain't that cheating?
Now they're way up high too, aren't
No,
they?
no, no.
Right here. Isn't that the middle of the water? Or am
No.
I seeing looking down at it?
You're looking over and down at it.
Oh, so that's these fish right here. Is that what that is there?
Them will be fish right there, yeah.
Okay, so they're about 3/4 away. Okay, it's just up off the bottom.
That's almost cheating. When
You got that right, man.
when you
Wait
can
till
see
he-
them like that.
Wait till he comes across a stick bed or a brush pile
Yeah.
and you can make that out.
Now I just crossed a stick bed
Yeah.
and sonar, so
Yeah.
watch your pose.
All right.
Yeah.
Either a natural stump or a stick bed and sonar.
Sure say
Right here. Right
he's
here,
got
I
one on
think.
the other side.
Woo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, get the gaff ready.
Mine come off.
Oh,
Get the
yeah.
gaff. Oh yeah. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Right on it. Now this is the top. That top jig again, Dennis.
It's the color that they're after.
Now he's a little short, so we're gonna let him do his thing.
Up in here.
Is that magic color again?
Well, it's that black red.
The one that you never leave home without, right?
Right. You could even fish at it in clear water, but it doesn't produce like it does in this mud.
Well, my black red chartreuse isn't doing nothing.
This lake right here is famous for chartreuse. They got a saying on this lake, you can fish any color as long as it's chartreuse.
I think that's true a lot of places, you know.
But Southern Pro has a jig they call the Kentucky Christmas tree. It was built for this lake. It's a deep red, something like it's on the side of this black red chartreuse we're running, with a green sparkle tail. And it's a very productive. I noticed these locals that's been trolling past us today, they're fishing that very jig.
Okay. Local
Instead of
favorite.
hot grubs, they're trolling that umbrella. They nickname it the Kentucky Christmas tree.
You know, a lot of times you're fishing a tournament, and maybe it's a 7-fish tournament, for example, and you get 6, and you need that one last fish, and suddenly that morning bite or whatever is done. It's over with. What do you do in a case like that to get that last fish?
Well, Don, if the bite slows down during the day and you need that one last big fish to get you over the top to seal the deal in the tournament, you might have to go to tip a live bait or some kind of artificial scent on there to coax them into the biting to get you over the top and win that tournament.
You know, if you've got crappie fever now, like me, you're probably gonna want a lot more information on how you can get a lot more into tournament fishing and magazines and angling and where to go, what to do. And you know, I've got a treat for you. Guess who we've got standing by? Yep, you guessed it. Daryl Van Vactor, president of the American Crappie Association. Daryl, why don't you tell them a little bit about Crappie USA?
Hi folks, I'm Daryl Van Vactor, president of the American Crappie Association. And I want to welcome you to participate with us at any of the Crappie USA events held in over 40 locations annually. Hopefully one will be on a lake near you. At our events, we see teams male-female, female-female, adult youth, and all have an equal chance of qualifying through either our amateur or semi-pro division to the Cabela's Crappie USA Classic with a purse of over $175,000 held annually in the fall. More information about the tournament trail can be found at www.crappieusa.com or through our new quarterly publication, The Outdoor Journal, which is packed with information directly from the tournament pros on how they did it and where the fish should be doing better. All the information on the journal can be found at the website www.crappieusa.com, and while you're there, go to the open forum and talk directly to the tournament pros. They're on regularly answering questions about how to make you a better crappie fisherman on your favorite lake. Give us a call, 270-386-8255, 395-4204 or visit us on the web, again, at www.crappieusa.com. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the tournament trail.
Hey, thanks a lot, Daryl. You know, becoming a member of the American Crappie Association, it just makes sense. I know you're big time in the tournaments, and everybody tells me you guys are just a deadly team. What'd you guys do last year? I mean, have you been steadily improving your winning percentage and that type of thing? Or, you know, have you been seeing some improvement as the year's been going by?
To answer your question, Don, every year we seem to get a little bit better. We can usually manage to win 1 or 2 tournaments a year, almost always in the top 10. And our classic finishes, the championship finishes, for the past 3 years, we've steadily improved. We started off 21st position. Last year, or year before last, we were 14th. Last year, we were 7th at the Classic. So we keep coming up about 7 spots a year. Hopefully this year we can seal the deal down at Pickwick. Hey, Don, you know, me and Tammy's had all the fun today catching all these big old slabs. Best way for me to teach you how to do this technique is for you to hop up here in this seat. How about it?
I'm with you, brother. It's hard to take my eyes off this 987
All right,
seat, though.
you're up.
Oh, and there's already a fish. Man, man, hey, that's good timing. That's good timing. Get up in the throne of power here. There he is. There he is. That's timing. Ooh, and I think I got another line.
Tammy, you want to take care of him there?
Yeah, we'll just... And from long distance, I'm going to say that that's a black.
That is definitely a speck.
Oh,
I can be taught.
2 in a row, you're right.
I got some good teachers, you know. And if that was me
And
back
you're
there trying to
loose.
untangle that, it'd be a while. You know?
I've only done it a million
And what
times.
color was that again? The money color.
The money color. He ought to just put your name on that. As good as you do on it.
That's a great color. That we got the 2 most productive hot grub colors out there for us. The black yellow pink and black red chartreuse. They'll catch fish in any stained water, from the clearest to clear to the muddiest to mud.
Man, and you guys fish enough to know.
Don't see any fish on that particular little bit of structure, but
Okay.
they could be tight down in it.
Right, where we can't see them.
So we'll make just a little bit of a left turn and try to bring our jigs across, if not ours, Tammy's, across that little bit of structure.
You know, earlier, this thing's got such a good picture. It looked like that crappie that we saw winked at me. What do you think? Is that probably
Well,
right? I mean,
that might be stretching it a little bit, but it is quite a quality piece of equipment.
Oh, man.
And so they got all that good technology, and then they incorporated it into their units that we're using today. And right now, I've got to say, 14 on that side he turned it loose. I've got to say that I wouldn't consider using anything but a hummingbird right now. With all this new technology that's coming out, the Imager, that's a no-brainer, but their 700 series, their 787 and 767 fishing systems is as good as it gets.
You know, using the imaging, you know, he even told us, he called a shot like you were playing pool. He said, okay, there they are. They're about X number of feet off on the left side of the boat. Watch, I'm going to cut the boat and see if I can get us right over. There it went. I mean, you know, that's like calling your shot on an 8-ball in pool. Dennis, I mean, you're right. This is cheating, man. That's too good, man.
It is. It's too good.
And he's got so much experience. He's sitting there looking at this stuff and saying, oh, this is this and this and that, because he's got the experience. I'm looking over there and I'm saying, okay, yeah, fish, there's a boat, there's this, there's that. But then he's able to interpret it, a lot of these subtle things. Of course, he's been on every lake in North America, South America, Indonesia, and all. You know, but experience. You know, getting the manual out on something like this, and then getting out on the water and get some experience. Wouldn't you say that's got to be the main thing somebody's got to do with these new electronics?
Absolutely. You know what, though? I don't even get the manual out. All the modern electronics have a great simulator built into them.
Oh, okay.
You can install it on your boat. hook it up in your garage and sit there and learn how to adjust it and everything just by using the simulator.
Wow. Okay, cool. And something that's high tech. I mean, obviously, most fishermen have never even seen something like this with this kind of capability. To be able to just sit in your garage and get some dry land practice, hey, no replacing that.
Not whatsoever.
Oh, and there's another one. There's another one. There's another one.
Snap your bail down. There you go.
There we go. There's another one. Come on, need a little bit of Surfing USA back there now. Oh, another good one. Man. Wow. Sweet one.
That's a big male.
Well, you got us on the hogs back here, Dennis.
That's a big old male.
Wow. That's what I like seeing. Big crappie. And this is on that same pattern. That
Same exact pattern. What I did is I seen a little stick bed off there in my imager off to the left, and I turned the bolt to pull the jigs over top of that stick bed. It takes the exact same technique, basically the same speeds. You control the depth of the crankbait by the length of the line and the length of the bill on the bait. But it's more of a summertime pattern. We'll switch to a medium heavy pole and do basically just what we're doing today. A lot of people use a gasoline kicker motor. We're quite comfortable and quite at home with our Minn Kota autopilot. It works well, it maintains the speed. With our good battery charge, we can troll all day at a 1.5 with no problem.
And the reason that you want to bump it up a little bit in speed is because it's harder to pull all those crankbaits than it is a jig?
No, we want that 1.3 to 1.5 speed with a crankbait. The faster you pull the crankbait, the farther it dives.
Oh, okay, okay.
And we see, if we get to seeing the fish on our hummingbirds down there around 15, 16, 18, 20 feet, then we got to get to 1.5 on a fairly long cast to bring that crankbait down there to run that depth.
Okay, okay. So the more line out, the deeper it'll go.
Right.
And then the more speed,
The more speed, the deeper it'll go.
And in the summer, the fish are usually a little bit deeper. Up, let go. Gee, man, operator error. Some of the nicknames that you give to these Southern Pro, how many colors and patterns you think they've got, Dennis? Hundreds?
Hundreds at minimum. The hot grubs are out there. There's probably 25 colors of them right now. Mm-hmm. And we're adding 10 new colors soon. The tube jigs, there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of combinations.
Wow, man.
Different styles, varieties.
Notice, when you come out here and you've got, for example, this one, you've got these different types of tails. Now, you call these something else.
That is an injected mold, an injected umbrella tube. It's a solid, the head of it is solid plastic.
Right.
With a skirt. And believe it or not, those actually catch a lot of fish pulling.
Yeah, I would.
A tube jig, we started out pulling just tube jigs. We never fished a curly tail. And as Southern Pro evolved and got into the curly tail market, we started pulling them and seemed to do pretty good on them. So we reserved tube jigs for spider rigging or dipping, and once in a while we will pull it. We will troll that tube jig.
And that one color that you dipped the tail of, now
Orange chartreuse.
Orange chartreuse, okay.
Or orange white, they call this orange crush.
Orange crush.
And I dipped the sparkly tail in red. And turned it red.
I'm gonna make a note of that one. It's been deadly today, man. Now, Dennis. Well, you got us right over them steak beds. And we're trolling right over them. And this feels like a little chunkier, spunkier feller. I'll swing him up to you. What do you think? He's taking drag, man. Woo! Good belly on that girl. And that's that top secret color again?
Mm-hmm. Give that drag, that cap, about a quarter of a twist. I don't want it to bring that much drag. It puts line twists in.
Okay.
Not really sure why it done that.
Straight out, straight in, and what's 3 fish in about 30 seconds, huh? It's tough life, you know.
Somebody's got to do it.
I bet you lost count on all the lakes you've been crappie fishing on, huh?
I'm sure.
Been there, done that, you know.
We've really fished a lot of quality lakes, though, including this one.
Now you got, oh, gee, my knee, Dennis. You got us on too good of a, oh, hey, now this feels good. Uh-oh, is this that fish? What do you think? What is this? Is it a pound? Uh-oh, I think I got it in line there. Oh, that's a good fish. I feel it. It has not been on a weight control program. That's because I believe it's one of them whites that are in here getting ready to spawn. And she's got probably a belly full of eggs getting ready for that move to the bank. What do you think, Dennis?
That's definitely what they're doing in here.
Off she goes. Now, you know, Dennis and Tammy, they go all over the country. I mean, if you can think up your dream touring life, they're doing it right now. I mean, Santee Cooper, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama. You pick a state, they probably crappie fish there. And then he even surprised me and said, where I'm from, in Michigan. He's up there doing crappie tournaments. I said, they got crappie in Michigan? He said, yeah, we went up there and kicked butt in the tournament. You know, but it's just got to be fascinating to go over there and see what are those standard things that are the same about crappie no matter where you go. And then there are probably those subtle little things that are different for each body of water. Wouldn't you say so, Dennis?
I would say so. The thing that's a standard or that you really want to look for is a ledge, drop-offs. Try to get off of if you're fishing a river with current, try to get in some backwater or slack water. And just trust your graph. Get you a good hummingbird graph and trust it. If it tells you there's fish there, there's going to be fish. Chances are it's going to be what you're looking for.
And just find that right Southern Pro combination and get on them. There we go. Hello. Got him up, water skiing him, doing my thing. Dennis got us back here on this new pattern. Back here in this, well, a little deeper in the
They're
cove,
biting
I
it back
guess.
here.
And don't tell anybody, but you know, he's been dipping these tails in this stuff that's got scent, you know, turning it red and stuff. You know, I don't want it to get out, man. I'm gonna try to get some mileage off that thing here a little bit, but I think there's a 2-pounder with my name all over it. Shh. Tammy, with all the crappie you guys catch, you know, how do you feel about catch and release? And if you were gonna mount one of those special ones, would it be a reproduction or would you prefer to mount the actual fish itself?
Well, Don, we believe in the catch and release. If we catch anything with roe in it, a spawning female, we will release it, let her get back in the water. And if we was to mount one, we would do the reproduction so that you didn't take that fish out of the water, so she has a chance to spawn.
A triple. And there he went. Oh, and it's been good. This is a good
That's
one.
going to be a good fish there.
This is a good one.
Bring your rod tip back.
Back a little bit.
Yeah, right there.
Man, he feels real good. Boy, this is
What'd
what
you
I've been waiting on.
catch?
Man, he's been in that rod like,
Oh, look at
oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh, that's a slam.
Yeah, yeah, buddy.
Bring that booger over here.
There we go. A white?
That's a big white Kentucky crappie right there.
I can be taught. I can be taught.
That's a beautiful fish.
Man, right beside that structure.
Are you gonna catch that fish?
I got it. This feels heavy. I think it's a good one.
She always says that.
This time, I think it is.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, big mouth.
Look at that mouth.
Man, is that a white? Can you tell?
It's a big
Yeah,
white
it's a big
crappie.
white. You want to get that for me, Dennis?
Oh man, wow.
That's a nice white crappie right there.
Gee,
Cool.
but when you get on the pattern, you're on the pattern. We just need to get in Tammy's seat. That's what we need. You know.
Hey, when you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing.
Beautiful fish. Will anything else fit in that live well, Dennis?
It's pretty full today. It's pretty full. We've had a very productive day.
Good job.
This is out here on these runs where it's just, you know, you can't even sit down and reminisce and talk about what's your favorite crappie lake. Ooh, this is another good feeling. They all feel good though, but look at this one. Gee, man. Uh-oh, he's got the ego out. Uh-oh, he must like that one. Yeah, there we go. And would you look at that? Another one of Dennis's secret lures. Man, tipping that tail. But now remember what I said, people. Just quiet. Well, is this my new record, Dennis? What do you think?
No, I believe you're at, well,
Is he bigger than that other one?
Maybe.
I believe that big old speck you got in there is a little bigger than this
Okay.
white crappie, which is unusual for this particular lake.
Oh, another beefy fish. Wow.
That is a beautiful white crappie.
Man.
And you can see the distinctive lines down his back.
So that's the patterns you were
That's a
talking about.
telltale pattern of a white crappie. He's got these straight lines with specks filled in.
Beautiful fish. Well, you know, Dennis, hey. Now I either
You
caught
might have one right there.
a catfish, a big old bass,
Slow and steady.
or this is gonna be somebody. Somebody's
That's
coming to
That's a
town.
nice solid fish.
Oh, this is gonna be my biggest crappie ever, right here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're not gonna see the net job, but you're gonna have to forgive us because we're gonna bring it up forward after we scoop it with this. Hello. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? This is my new record crappie. Unbelievable.
It's a solid male speck.
Solid male black crappie. Give me that weight estimate and make it a high one.
That's a solid pound and a half fish. No matter
Pound
how
and a
you
half.
cut that.
See, now he meant pound and a half plus the belly weight. So, you know, clearly 5-pounder, clearly, you know, but pound and a half, this is my biggest crappie ever right here. I've led a sheltered life, but, you know, they've caught 3-4 pounds, you know, but for me, this is my biggest one ever. And, you know, Dennis and Tammy made this happen with this awesome technique. Pulling. You ought to try it.
Well, how was that for a day of fishing,
Man,
Don?
I'm gonna tell you what, I've been crappie fishing. That was crappie fishing.
That,
Man,
and that
left
was a
and
bad day.
Oh yeah, I know you guys keep saying that, but you know, my biggest crappie ever is in there. We must have caught, I don't know, what do you think, almost 100 fish probably?
Right, we easily boated 100 fish.
Yeah.
We didn't get that many keepers, but you know, Don, here at Kentucky Lake, they're doing a great job of controlling the crappie. With all the throwbacks we caught today, it's a good testament that the crappie fishing's alive and well here at Kentucky Lake.
Oh, definitely. And you know, for people who basically got to watch us do this here today, I've got to show you something. We're gonna look in this live well, and I've been out crappie fishing a lot, you know, tournaments, things like that. This technique was so productive. It was never boring. These live wells,
get these
and
out of your way.
Ranger doesn't make a small live well. I can go blindfolded, reach down in here and grab some. I'm just gonna grab a fish, and I know you think I'm just grabbing fish that are big. I guess I couldn't do it blindfolded. I'm gonna grab, I mean, none of these fish are dinks. And matter of fact, there's a couple in here that are flat out, I guess you guys call them slabs, right?
Yeah, this is
Slabs.
good Kentucky slabs. I've
I
got
mean-
here in my hand a solid 2-pound fish and a 1 3/4 fish next to it. That's a good 1.5-pound speck right there.
I know you remember him, right? Hello.
That's a great Kentucky lake speck.
Woo! You know, I tell you what, these guys, you know, you go out with pros. I mean, probably the top, obviously top male-female team in the country, but probably, and maybe this is your year. They go up 7 every year. Probably looking at the team in the country. I couldn't have had a better time, guys. I appreciate you having me along. I learned a ton.
Well, Don, it was a pleasure having you with us.
Had a good time.
Maybe we can get together soon again sometime and either do some more pulling or maybe get into some good quality spider rigging.
You know, any kind of fishing with these guys, I know it's going to be fun. For Crappie 101, I'm Don Sweet, and we'll see you next time.